Cassava is one of Kenya's most important cultivations, brought to the African continent hundreds of years ago by the Portuguese. It is especially useful due to its ability to grow in harsh conditions, in poor soils, and with little water. The people of Africa have been relying on cassava for food and income, especially during dry seasons. The root, shown here, is cooked and eaten and is the third largest source of carbohydrates in the world. But the cassava plant is not without problems. A number of viruses have plagued the crop throughout the continent of Africa, leading to huge yield losses and food shortages. Now the citizens of Kenya are struggling to find enough food, and the cost of cassava has risen to 10 times its price 5 years ago. Two viruses, the cassava mosaic virus and cassava brown streak virus, have been particularly devastating. This has a huge impact on people's food security and their ability to create income. The mosaic virus starts in the leaves, withering and convulsing them, and damages the stem, causing disease in future plants grown from the cassava stems and shrinking the roots by up to 70%. The brown streak virus is transmitted through either the leaves or the roots and rots the roots, rendering them inedible.
The most valuable part of the plant, the root, is most affected by these diseases, and food shortages have hit the Horn of Africa hard in the past decade. Here, the symptoms of the disease are clear to see in these roots. The lives of millions of people have been made much harder as a result.
Kwanza ukipika ugali wake unasikia harufu mbaya, halafu uko unakula ni machungu ugali yake. Kwa hiyo inabidi tuwe tunaondoa yale mauchafu, tunayaacha mwambano, tunachukua ule mzuri. Chagendera sabe. Halafu
Cassava brown streak virus not only cuts into the food supply, but affected plants take longer to harvest and prepare, and diseased cuttings left behind in the soil can infect future generations of plants. One important thing to note is the low reproduction rate of cassava. It reproduces at 3% the speed of corn, making conserving healthy shoots for the new season even more important.
Lakini dalili zenyewe zinaotokea inatokea kwenye mizizi yake iliyo inapata kama ugorogoro hivi. Halafu ndio uharibifu wa miogo hizi ulivyoanza.
Tunachotaka kujua ni kwamba
Cassava brown streak virus is usually difficult to detect above ground. It is not until you pull out the root that you see the extent of the damage. Infection rates of up to 70% mean that fully healthy cassava is usually used exclusively for planting new crops.
Zinaonekana kwenye majani haya ya majani ya chini ya mhogo, na utaona hayo michirizi inaonekana kwenye majani yake kama inavyoonekana hapo. Dalili za huu ugonjwa ni kama zinaonekana kwenye jani hili. Kuna kuwa na rangi ya njano ambayo inafuata kwenye hii mishipa ya jani. Kwa hiyo
in a field that has been devastated by cassava brown streak virus, townspeople work to remove the rotten root pieces from the harvest. This process can take weeks, severely delaying a farmer going to market until most villages have already spent their money. Once rotting begins in the root and stem, it can spread rapidly and destroy a large part of the plant by harvest time. Here, the white, healthy root is being scraped off, leaving the rotten brown part to be discarded. Cassava root with any contamination whatsoever is inedible, as it causes severe stomach problems. Luckily, diseased bits can be detected easily, as they have a strong, distinctive smell and taste. Both cassava brown streak virus and cassava mosaic virus have been found to be transmitted by whiteflies, small, migrating insects that feed on the underside of cassava leaves and travel in huge swarms.
Dalili ya kwanza mhogo kuoza, unakuta shina kwa juu linaanza kukauka, katikati unakuta labda limechipuka. Uking'oa kwa ndani kwa mhogo unakuta umeoza kwa ndani. Juu ni zima, kwa ndani limeoza.
Kwa hiyo ina maana ina athari kubwa sana kwenye familia.
Ndio hivyo.
Na ukiangalia kwa wenzako, je, hali hii ya kuoza kwa mihogo ni kwa wote au ni mashamba machache?
Ni kwa wote.
Kwanza tungependa ufanyike uchunguzi wa kina zaidi ili kuweza kubaini ukubwa wa tatizo kwenye maeneo ambayo yaliyotajwa. Na pili, kuwe na juhudi za makusudi kujaribu mbegu mbalimbali tulizonazo kwenye benki zetu ili tuelewe ni ipi inaweza kuvumilia au kuhimili.
One of the most successful methods of treating this disease is crossbreeding healthy plants, which slowly builds up a fortification against the viruses and ensures food security for the town. For farmers with smartphones, an app has been released that is able to identify diseased cassava through the camera. This app can distinguish between healthy cassava and plants with mosaic or brown streak virus, and can even identify pictures of plants or photos on a computer. This is a huge step forward in expediting the crossbreeding process for future farmers. The most effective methods for treating the two virulent cassava diseases are as follows. Seek out and destroy all diseased or damaged plants, as diseases can spread quickly throughout whole plantations. A smaller, healthier plantation will yield more usable roots and stems than a large, diseased one. Have expert cassava farmers handle stems for planting, to ensure that only healthy stems are used. This will ensure a healthy plot at the start of every season. Plant varieties of cassava that are most resistant to the cassava mosaic and brown streak viruses. As of 2009, varieties have become available from the Kenyan government for purchase by farmers. Farmers should not share farming material from any affected areas, including tools and soil. This is one of the least known ways that viruses can be spread. Using these methods, African farmers may one day be able to thwart these diseases entirely and ensure a rich cassava harvest for all.